You said you were in Breckenridge?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Nice.
Yep. What was the snow conditions? Because we've seen the whole atmospheric rivers going on. Like, is there just a shit ton of snow?
Really good. The top was a little spotty coverage here and there, some rocks on the bowls, but I mean, very skiable. I didn't hit any rocks that I know of, so
that's good.
The bottoms, my bases still looked good at the end of each day, so
right,
it's great.
Nice. Is Breckenridge a usual spot for?
Yeah,
for you?
I've skied all kinds of different places, but Breck's always had a special place to me, just because I first went there with some college buddies some 30 plus years ago, and I've been going back, at least a couple of times a year since, even when I go ski other places as well.
Yeah.
It's a great place. It's not that far from Denver.
No.
Yep.
It's massive, so you've got a little bit of everything.
Right.
I mean, it's a good place to go.
Yeah. I've actually never skied there for whatever reason. I've been around it a ton, but predominantly most of my skiing happens in the Northwest. Up in Vancouver, so head up to Whistler and things like that. So
that's on my bucket list: Whistler and Jackson Hole and Telluride. Those three.
Yeah,
and I'd like to hit Mammoth in California too, but
I haven't skied in a few years. Should put
like
that on the list for next year. Yeah, hey, I'm in. I'll do it.
I will never say no to an invitation to go skiing.
Yeah.
All right, noted. I'm gonna make a note of that. Ski.
2023 ski.
We were talking about though how, and this doesn't relate to you because you're not at the age yet.
All right.
But for us, elder statesmen, like when we go ski now, things have changed a little bit. And maybe I'm speaking for myself, but I'm not as aggressive at all. I don't ski enough to be aggressive, and then half the trip I'm just trying to remember how to do things again. But it's like this attitude, like I haven't blown out a knee yet, and I don't want to try at this point in time.
Yeah,
I got stuff to do. So
we got golf to play too. I mean,
well, right.
Yeah.
There are many times now I've got an 11-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 20-year-old where they say I'm going to go down this part. I'm like, okay, I'll meet you at the bottom. I'll wait for you down there. I'm going to take the smooth groomer, and you tear up those bumps and tell me how it was.
Yeah.
Right. Or my youngest, she was like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna go do this jump." I'm like, "You go right ahead. I'm not."
Yeah, that was something I never got into, was doing any of the jumps or anything like that. It was just too much risk for not that much a reward in my book.
Right. Yeah. And you can't get hurt because you're just getting back on the mend.
There's so many things that have happened to my body over the last 10 years. I mean, thankfully I've still got strong cycling legs, so that helps me a lot skiing.
Sure,
but I'm not out looking for jumps or bumps or trees or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just put me on the smooth corduroy. I don't care how steep it is, but just something that's groomed.
Yeah.
We're very strong in the whole concept of après ski.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've got that down pretty well.
No, I'm great at the hot tub part. I'm great at the dinner that night part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is this thing on? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Summits Podcast. Thank you for joining us from wherever you get your podcasts, or if you're joining us on the Heroes Foundation YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in. Today, we've got a newly minted Heroes Foundation board member, longtime Team Heroes member, and all-around stand-up gentleman, Mr. Bryce Zoeller. Welcome to the Summits Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you give our listeners and viewers a little background on yourself?
Longtime cyclist. Knew most of the guys on Team Heroes well before I joined Team Heroes, but I had a few incidents over the years that kind of took me away from cycling. I got hit by a car in 2014, got sepsis when I was in the hospital in 2017, and had to go into a rehab hospital, learn to walk, use my arms, all that kind of stuff again.
Oh, wow.
So not a lot of time on the bike between 14 and 19. And then a work colleague of mine talked me into basically doing ODRAM, which is one day ride across Michigan in 19, and that's to raise money for juvenile diabetes. I really liked that. I liked asking people to help support a cause that I thought was important, and I kind of fell in love with the bike again. And that's, I joined Team Heroes shortly after that, and decided, look, this cycling's got a new purpose for me now. I can use it to help raise money for causes that are really important to me. And Heroes Foundation was a perfect fit for me.
Not to bring up any bad memories, but you said car in 14. Do we add car in 22?
22 as well, yeah.
It was like right around the corner from where we're sitting.
It was real close to here. But yeah, that was in August, hit and run. She came in the circle, a roundabout, hit me, and then took off.
No follow-up from that at all?
Maybe if you're watching or listening, feel free to call in. Late apology is better than no apology at all.
The Heroes tip line is open.
Yeah.
Right.
If you were driving a gray Toyota Camry or Corolla on August 3rd and you ran into a neon-colored guy in a biking outfit, that was me. Thank you. Please report to the authorities so I can be made whole again.
Yeah, there you go. That's a very PCO way of putting it. I appreciate that. That's good. Better than I would have done. Well, we appreciate your support on Team Heroes for sure, and we'll kind of get into how that's evolved to today. When you did the ride across Michigan, you said you weren't necessarily riding actively at that point in time, or that's what helped get you back into it? Is that correct?
That's what kind of got me back into it. That was in August of 19, and my buddy talked me into it in July. So I had about 3 or 4 weeks to train to do 150 miles. Wow. I'd done centuries a lot when I was younger,
right.
But I was really hesitant to, am I going to be able to do this? How many times am I going to have to stop and rest? But it went well.
Yeah, awesome. And then that has morphed into, let's kind of go into maybe today a little bit in terms of when did you first start doing the ride in Kansas? How many years is that?
This year will be my 4th year, but the first year was canceled because of COVID.
Okay.
So this will be my third time out there. And that was something that I was interested in, if it could provide me a way to raise money for Heroes. And I thought, look, that's a good in with the people in Kansas, because I know it's really hard to get in that race. I mean, it's 10 people apply, 1 person will get in.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So I needed to have something that would make me attractive to them. And then also, the flip side of the coin is I've got an important race like that I can use to sell Heroes Foundation and, sponsor me to go out there and, go through that pain and raise awareness about what we do. And
right. Let's, I'll take a step back. Let's go into what your cancer story is, and then we'll kind of then come back full circle to what we're doing now together. So Bryce, what is your cancer story?
I've had close friends, family, and colleagues, really close colleagues, have all been touched by cancer. I'd watched it happen. I'd been a spectator, and, my thought was, we need more people to get involved, quit watching it happen, and try to do something about it. And I thought, look, I'm a perfect person to try to do that. Especially with cycling as my means to that end. Mm-hmm. And I got tired of watching it happen to people I cared about, and I wanted to get involved.
And so you've done, this goes back to our Fit for Heroes event. You've done that event for the last, probably close to 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And that has evolved into where we're kind of headed now, in that, so Bryce was very active and fit. And then when that Kansas race came about, it just kind of flipped a switch and said, hey, you know what? And this is also about the same time that Fit for Heroes was kind of evolving out of just the spin-a-thon indoors, single day on-site event, to something bigger than that. And Bryce was like, look, I want to do this Kansas race, but I want to do it as part of my campaign for Fit for Heroes. And then here we are, fast forwarding to, now coming up on 2023, Bryce, new member of the Heroes Foundation Board of Directors, And a good piece of that is just the flag that he's been carrying for Heroes in terms of his personal campaign and utilizing this race in Kansas as part of his campaign. So why don't you tell us about like maybe the last year or two of how that process has gone and then kind of what your vision is for
Sure.
23?
Well, I enjoyed, back when it was the Spin for Heroes and then Fit for Heroes, I enjoyed raising money for that. I've never had a hard time asking colleagues, friends, family, to support a cause that's important like that. And it went well the first couple of years I did it. I raised a lot of money, and then I thought, let's translate this to, it was then called Dirty Kanza, now it's called Garmin Unbound.
Okay.
And, those are both events, the Garmin Unbound is an event that occurs in June. And so I decided, well, I'm going to start trying to use this platform with Heroes to try to raise money for that. And so I usually started the last 2 years like April-ish. I'll start really kind of, doing things on Instagram, on Facebook, things like that, trying to get people that know me, to sponsor me. I talk to them before and after my training rides, big rides. I talk, I'll do a little snippet of video and, ask people to help support. And it went really, really well. I mean, I went from, raising $3,000 or $4,000 for Fit for Heroes to, $12,000. And then a little bit more than that last year. And this year, we've talked about doing things a little bit differently, and instead of just focusing on individual sponsorships, trying to get some corporate sponsorships, some law firms, people that know me from the business world, to get involved in this. And, the thing that Vince and I had talked about was, well, let's maybe put on a presentation about cancer prevention. And give it to these law firms, businesses, and their personnel. And, maybe it gets them a benefit with their health insurer for having that type of education. And, in the meantime, then we can also try to raise money for the event, which is now morphed into, what was the name that we came up with for that? It was Unbound for Heroes.
Unbound for Heroes, yeah.
So
we wanted to play off the Dirty Kanza name, but I think there's a reason why they got away from that.
Yeah.
Then of course, it led to other things, and
So we've referred to it as the race a couple times in Kansas. So give a little more detail about what what do you have to do from the start to the finish line in that race?
Well, they have different distances. The one I do is 105 miles.
Okay.
It's probably 90% on gravel. Gravel or dirt, farm access roads, and road is putting it nicely in some sections of the Flint Hills of Kansas. And unlike what I always thought of Kansas, it's actually very rolling hills in that particular section. And it's 105 miles, and it's about 5,000 feet of elevation by the time it's finished. So it's unsupported. There's a stop at midway where you can, get snacks, food, water, mechanical things to your bike, get help basically. But other than that, you're on your own. You carry what you're going to drink, you carry what you're going to eat, and you carry enough tools to fix your bike. Flats, mechanicals, that stuff happens. The first year I did it, I had multiple flats, and I was out of a way to fix my bike, and I had to ride the last 10 miles on a flat tire.
Oh man.
Which was, less than ideal. But So it's anywhere from 6 to 8.5, 9 hours.
Okay.
From start to finish.
Okay. So it's not paved roads and you're gliding on a road bike and things like that. It's a haul.
It is. And some of the we will typically hit speeds of 40 miles an hour, and when you're doing that on gravel in a rut, you're just thinking, just hold my line, stay in that rut.
Yeah.
Stay in that rut.
Yeah.
Don't. And I've seen people wreck. I've seen people get hurt. Thankfully, nothing super serious in Kansas. There was a race up in Vermont last year that, pretty well-known cyclist died an African cyclist. So, I mean, it is dangerous,
Yeah.
you know, and you burn through 5,000-6,000 calories, and it feels like you're eating and drinking constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Not a bad thing. I'm
Yeah.
being on that part.
Yeah.
You do the eating, drinking constantly, just not ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a ride along ATV? We'll just
Well, and
sit in.
the whole vibe, the whole scene, the gravel scene is just, it's incredible. It's, you know, I used to do road racing when I was younger, and, you know, that's very, very competitive and cutthroat, and, you know, you have to dive into corners, you know, to get results and things like that. You got to be willing to risk a lot. And it's not really that way in gravel. It's much more, you know, they call it, it's like a mullet, you know, business in the front, party in the back. The people in the very front are, you know, fighting for placings, and those are the professionals.
Okay.
But, you know, the people in the rest of the pack are all trying to help each other, you know, laughing, talking, encouraging. And the whole town gets behind it. I mean, this whole town of Emporia, Kansas, you know, it's a college town. Emporia State University is there, but the whole town just really rallies behind this. People come out to see the race. You know, I've met friends out there that I see once a year when I go out. You know, I told you I rode the first year a flat tire, and I had to get back to where I was staying, my Airbnb, which was 5 miles away from the start line. And so I'm sitting there for a while, and I was out there solo my first year. And, you know, I see this elderly couple walk by, and they start talking to me, and they hear what's going on. And the next thing I know, they're helping me load my bike into their truck, and, you know, they're giving me a ride home. And now when I go out there, I hook up with them and have dinner, and
Nice.
some great friends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
When is that race again?
First weekend in June.
First weekend in June. Okay. And what does the support crew look like this year?
I'm not sure if anybody's going out with me again. Last year I had a friend that went out with me, and she was super supportive, you know, following my stats online, because, you know, she can get onto a link and see my heart rate, my watts, my speed, everything. And, you know, she kept texting me supportive messages. Hey, you're way ahead of schedule. Don't burn yourself out. Just, you're doing great. And so I'm hoping to talk her into doing it again. But I'm also doing Finland gravel, which is a little bit farther away the next week.
Okay.
And I'm going to have support for that. So, you know, I understandably, like, going to Finland and Kansas on separate weeks is not
They're right next to each other, though, right?
Yeah.
right next to each other, right? A lot of the same people will be there.
I was just going to offer up, like, let's get a group together and be the support group. I'm like, Finland sounds
a lot better.
kinda cool.
Yeah.
I go to Finland in the summertime.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey, if you're looking to go to Emporia, Kansas, first weekend of June, we can hook you up. We'll get you some gear. It's got to provide some support services to Bryce, and we can figure something out.
Yeah, and my support.
Hit us up in the comments section.
My support last year, Marla, she wore the hero stuff.
She did.
Yeah, and she was great. You know, she had people ask her about heroes, and she talked us up, and, you know, I try to do the same thing. And you know, I'd like to somehow down the road get us affiliated with that race, because they have charities that they will support and let people get into the race if they'll, you know, help support that charity.
Oh,
Right.
cool.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I would love for us to get big enough to start doing something like that, and get people from, you know, outside of Indiana to know what we do and try to help us.
Right. Yeah. And then take it to Finland. I mean, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I can't use Finland as my my pledge drive, because nobody's really going to feel sorry for me
Right.
going to Finland to ride.
Yeah.
I can at least sell the Kansas experience as it's going to be grueling. It's Kansas. It's going to be dirty, filthy.
Yeah.
You know, help me out here.
But on the ride in Finland, are you allowed to put like water in a Camelback, or does it have to be straight vodka?
Right. The race is put on by Valtteri Bottas, who's a big gravel cyclist. He's a Formula One driver.
Right. Yeah.
And he went out and did Steamboat gravel, which is run by my cycling coach, Amy Charity.
Okay.
And, you know, he got talking with her, and she's a very, very brilliant business mind. But a big cyclist as well, former professional and national team rider. And they got to talking, and so now we've got Finland Gravel on the calendar for this year, and
That's cool.
thankfully, it helps to know the people that put the races on, because it makes the entry a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about your about the Unbound for Heroes campaign specifically, if you will. Any thoughts on like how do you envision it going? What is your pitch to folks who want to support you in this endeavor? And I know that you're looking at a couple things to really incentivize people to give. What does that look like for 23?
Well, I've given it a lot of thought, and I've talked about it with you a lot. And I think, the best way to really attack something and make it meaningful is to set a goal, and not just let's beat last year's numbers. I want to blow last year's numbers out of the park. I want to, do $30,000 this year. And in a couple of years, I'd like to do $50,000. And I would love to see this morph into an event that 10 years down the road, we're raising hundreds of thousands of dollars through this event.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
and, hopefully the same individuals will still continue to support me. But again, I think it gives companies, corporate law firms, businesses an incentive if we can, give them a presentation, an educational presentation about how, best ways to prevent cancer. Statistically speaking, you're this many times more likely to get cancer if you engage in these type of behaviors, these type of activities. And if we can make that meaningful, I think it will pay for itself for those companies. Certainly I know health insurance companies, and I've seen things in the past where when there's an educational component to it or something that's going to help their company be more healthy, they get real interested, very interested, because it means less that they have to pay out. So, my law firm, Keitlinger and Gray, we had something, presentation, and then follow-up health screenings and gym memberships, and it lowered our health insurance premium. And so I'm hopeful that, if we can get some people to join me for some of these presentations, maybe some doctors or, healthcare professionals, and talk about, prevention in a meaningful way, that maybe the health insurance companies will give those people a little bit of a break, and that makes it easier for them to help sponsor this kind of event.
Right. Yep. I agree. I know that's part of Scott Mingle, who we just hired as a program and event manager. When he starts putting together his plan for not just for Fit for Heroes, but for Project Militia, that all is kind of intertwined. And one of the cornerstones really of that program is going out educating the public on cancer prevention, as you just mentioned. So if you guys haven't chatted, I want to make sure you guys get together and talk about that, and then certainly putting together that package, if you will, of going out and presenting that to employees and students and employers. Will hopefully not only better educate the Hoosier public, but also pay dividends in terms of what we're trying to do.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. Look forward to it. Really appreciate your jumping on board and stepping up your game to support us. I think what you're doing is sets a really great example for others, and hopefully others will jump on board and follow.
And that's what I've always hoped, is that a few people will start to see what I'm doing and say, hey, can I do this with you? And that would be great. I would love to do that. And, 5-10 years down the road, I would love for us to be sending, a full team of Team Heroes people out there to do this race and to raise money and, make it really, really big.
Yep.
And any way we can get people talking about this subject, I think is good. I'm not a guy that typically wears a lot of pink or has things that are pink colored, but my gravel bike is got pink detailing all over it. And, I want people to ask me why. And then I tell them it's, breast cancer. And with that coming up in the very near future, it provides me a good opportunity to talk to them and say, hey, I do this for a reason, and let me tell you what else I do. I'm involved with the Heroes Foundation, and I'm going to have a pledge drive, and I'll give me your name and number. I'll be happy to reach out to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What questions you might have for us, if any?
You've had some pretty fantastic people on the Summits podcast that I've watched, and I was really intrigued by why you wanted me.
Well, I think we just talked about that. Someone said something to me the other day, and it kind of resonated. I was appreciative of it, but I was kind of feeling down because I had just gotten some kind of critical news or constructive criticism where they were maybe saying there were some things that we should be doing a lot better that we aren't. And I'm like, okay. And then a friend of mine, fraternity brother of mine, we were talking about it, and he's like, you know what though? The difference is you're doing something.
Right.
And it goes back to the old slogan that Nike had, just do it.
Yeah.
It's so true. And then really that's at the end of the day, that's what we're just trying to get people to do is look, just do something, whether it's volunteer, giving of your time, or do you want to donate? Great. Give of your treasure. Or is there something else you can bring to the table besides those two that can benefit the foundation overall and what we're trying to accomplish? Then great. But just do something. Standing idle on the sidelines isn't really benefiting anyone. It's, at least in our case, it's not benefiting us. So I think that's really the key is what you're doing is you're stepping up and you're doing something, and we appreciate that, and that's all we can ask.
Yeah, I've really just been humbled by the support I've gotten in the last few years, and from all kinds of people. A girl I went to law school with decades ago that I worked with in my law firm, Marcia Mahoney. She pledged an enormous amount for an individual, the highest amount anybody has given me in the past few years. And, I was thankful, but I asked her, hey, Marcia, why, you don't have to pledge this amount. I mean, I'm appreciative, but that's an awful big amount for an individual. And she said, as you know, my husband died from cancer. This was probably 20-some years ago.
Okay.
And her son, unfortunately, got the same type of cancer, but he beat it, survived it, and is healthy. And she's like, I really believe in the research, the research component of what you guys are doing. It makes a difference, and it made a difference in my life. And so, she's since retired, but I stay in touch with her, and she'll come out and ask me, hey, when's your thing again this year? When's your race? And I know she'll support it because again, it's like it touched her, and that touches me. And, I tell this story, and I hope it touches some other people. Because, we can make a difference. I can't beat cancer by myself, and the three of us can't beat it by ourselves. But the more people that get involved, someday there will be, we will beat it.
Yeah. Well, it takes a village, and that's what this is all about. It's about building that village. The more people we get involved, and you've been in Indy long enough, that it's 2 steps away to Kevin Bacon, not 7.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to find more people to get in there, and then that network just continues to grow.
I met a guy, on a chairlift, as often happens when you're out skiing. You say, hey, how you doing? How's the day going? Where are you from? And it was a guy that was literally in a fraternity at IU when I was in a fraternity at IU.
Okay.
And we knew some of the same people. And he's a doctor that lives out in Boston. And it's like, wow, you knew that person. I knew that person. It's like, we probably knew each other.
Right.
And here we are 35 years later, and we're skiing.
That's hysterical. That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for everything that you're doing to help support the organization, not just from a board capacity, but primarily from this fundraising endeavor. We really appreciate that, and thank you for help carrying that torch and or the banner and extending the message across not just the city or the state, but also all the way through the Midwest at this point, and now almost internationally.
Yeah, Finland. I'll tell people about us over there, and who knows? I'm trying to think 5 and 10 years down the road, but who knows?
That's right.
Who knows?
Now, you're going to be doing your training. You mentioned Instagram and things like that. So we'll make sure that your socials and everything are tagged in the episode. So that way you can follow along and watch the race when it happens. Is the race live streamed at all?
It
or
is.
Is it anything like that? Okay.
It is live streamed. I'm not sure who's going to be carrying it this year, but there are a lot of professionals in it. Last year, there were former world champions in my race.
Cool.
And I rode with them during the race. I saw the rainbow stripes, and I'm like, I know who that is. I'm going to ride with him. And, I took a pull, and then when I got to the back, I pulled my camera out and started taking pictures of it.
Nice.
We'll make sure that all that info's in there so everyone can follow along. I know I will be. That'll be cool.
Yeah,
for sure. And we'll also put a link to the Unbound for Heroes campaign.
Yep.
We've got that running already, so we'll put a link to that in the description. So if you guys want to support Bryce and his endeavor for the 2023 Fit for Heroes and his particular campaign, which is called Unbound for Heroes, we'll put a link in that so you guys can connect to it and take a look. We appreciate you coming on the Summits podcast. We thank you for sharing your stories and look forward to this summer and all your adventures.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm a true believer in what this organization does, and that makes it easy to advocate.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank all you guys for listening to this episode of the Summits podcast from wherever you get your podcasts, or if you're tuning in on the Heroes Foundation YouTube channel, thank you for doing so. If you haven't hit that subscription button, please do so. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a single penny. So we appreciate it if you did that. And don't forget, guys, beat cancer.